Alice in Wonderland, a Disney classic. One summer's day, Alice and her kitten, Dana, were sitting in the branches of a tree. Down below, her sister was reading aloud from a history book. But Alice wasn't listening. She was dreaming of a world where cats and rabbits wore clothes and lived in little houses. She picked up Dana and climbed down from the tree. Just then, a white rabbit came scuttling along. He was clutching a large watch. The white rabbit looked at the watch as he ran past Alice, muttering, I'm late, I'm late. How curious, gasped Alice. What could a rabbit possibly be late for? Please, she cried, wait for me. But the rabbit didn't stop. I'm late, he cried and disappeared into a large hole in the foot of a tree. Alice was now very curious. She squeezed into the dark hole and crawled after him. Suddenly, Alice found herself falling down, down, down. Luckily, her dress ballooned out like a parachute and she began floating. Hanging on the walls of the tunnel were all kinds of strange pictures of furniture. At last, Alice reached the bottom. The white rabbit was just disappearing around the corner at the end of a very long corridor. Wait, cried Alice, chasing after him. At the end of the corridor was a tiny door. Alice tried the doorknob. Eek, cried the voice. The doorknob was speaking. I'm looking for the white rabbit, said Alice. Please let me through. Sorry, you're much too big, replied the doorknob. Try the bottle on the table over there. Alice looked around and saw the bottle labeled Drink Me. Alice tasted a little. Soon she had finished every drop. All at once, Alice began to shrink. Soon she was so tiny that she was able to get through the little door. On the other side of the door, Alice found herself on the edge of a large forest. She saw the white rabbit through the trees in the distance. Alice started to run after him, but suddenly her way was blocked by two little fat men, Tweedledum and Tweedledee. My name is Alice, said Alice. I'm curious to know where the white rabbit is going. The two little men both began talking at the same time. Alice couldn't understand what they were saying, so she decided to set off in another direction. Soon Alice came to a little house. As she walked up the path, the white rabbit ran out in front of the door. He was now dressed in a tunic and a scarf and a ruff. Oh my, I'm late, he cried. Then he said to Alice, go and get my gloves. Alice was too surprised to argue and went inside the little house. Alice searched everywhere. Finally, she lifted the lid of the jar and found some biscuits. They looked very good, so she took one. Alice started to grow and grow and grow. Soon she was so big that she was bursting out of the house. Her arms poked through the holes and her legs burst out the door. A monster, cried the white rabbit. Perhaps I'll find something else to eat, said Alice. It will make me small again. She stretched out her hand and pulled up a carrot from the garden. When Alice ate it, she began to shrink. Soon Alice was so small she could crawl under the front door. The rabbit, pleased that the monster had disappeared, ran off down the garden. Alice tried to follow him, but now that she was so tiny, the grass seemed like a huge forest. And who are you? Asked a creepy voice. It was a caterpillar lying lazily on a mushroom. "I'm Alice," replied Alice, and I wish I was a little taller." Suddenly, the caterpillar turned into a butterfly. "I can help," said the butterfly, pointing at the mushroom. "One side of this will make you taller. The other side will make you shorter." Then the butterfly fluttered away. Alice looked at the mushroom, trying to decide which side should make her taller. Finally, she broke off a piece from each side of the mushroom and took a bite from one. Luckily, Alice had chosen the right piece and was soon back to her normal height. She dropped the pieces of mushroom into her pocket. Walking along, Alice heard singing. She turned to see a toothy smile and a pair of eyes. As Alice looked more closely, the odd-looking cat with purple stripes appeared. "I'm looking for the white rabbit," said Alice. "Which way should I go?" "I'm Cheshire Cat," said the odd-looking cat, "and if I was looking for a white rabbit, I'd say the Mad Hatter or the Arch Hare that way." He pointed towards a path in the forest. Then the Cheshire Cat vanished. So Alice followed the path and soon heard the Mad Hatter and the Arch Hare. They were having tea at the big table set with many places. "We are having an birthday party," said the Mad Hatter. "We have one birthday a year, so there are 364 unbirthdays." The Mark Hare and Alice were said had come from. "It all started while I was sitting with Anna, my cat," began Alice. "Cat?" said a squeaky voice. A dormouse mouse jumped out of a teapot and ran around the table. "Catch him," called the Mad Hatter. "No time, no time, no time," cried the White Rabbit, magically appearing. But once again, he disappeared into the distance. "Wait," shouted Alice, getting up from the table and following him. By now, Alice was tired of the strange ways of Wonderland. "I'm going home," she said. "You can't go home without meeting the Queen," said the Cheshire Cat, suddenly appearing. As he spoke, a door in a nearby tree opened. Stepping through it, Alice found herself in the palace gardens. She was amazed to see two playing cards painting white roses with red paint. The cards explained that the Queen of Hearts had ordered red roses. They were painting the white roses red in hopes that she didn't notice. If the Queen did notice the white roses, she would chop off their heads. Just then the doors of the palace opened and marched the White Rabbit. "The Queen of Hearts," he announced, and the king. The Queen walked up to the rose tree. "Who been painted my roses red?" she demanded. "Off with their heads." Then she spotted Alice. Alice trembled. "I'm trying to find my way home," she said. "Your way?" cried the Queen. "All the ways here belong to me. Off with her head." Then the Queen changed her mind. "Do you play crochet?" she asked. "Yes, Your Majesty," replied Alice. "Then let's begin a game," ordered the Queen. Alice had never seen such a curious crochet game before. The balls were hedgehogs and the mallets were flamingos. As the queen was around to take a shot with the flamingo, the Cheshire cat appeared. The queen's flamingo panicked in the confusion. The queen lost her balance and fell over. She was furious. "Off with her head," she yelled at Alice. "Shouldn't she have a trial first?" said the king. "Very well," sighed the queen. So everyone went to the courtroom, and Alice was put on trial. The queen sat on the judge's bench. "The prisoner is accused of tricking Her Majesty into a game of crochet," said the White Rabbit. "Never mind that," the queen shouted. "Guilty, off with her head." "Shouldn't we call some witnesses?" asked the king. "Very well," the queen snapped, "but get on with it." The first witness was the March Hare, and came the Dormouse, followed by the Mad Hatter. At the moment, the Cheshire cat appeared. "Look, Your Majesty," said Alice, "the Cheshire cat." Immediately, Dormouse jumped out of the teapot and ran up down the courtroom, squeaking. Everyone chased after him. Then Alice remembered the pieces of mushroom in her pocket and took a bite from one. She started growing and growing. Everyone was terrified of her. But before the queen could finish, Alice said, "You don't frighten me. You're just a bad-tempered old queen." No sooner had Alice spoken that, she felt herself shrinking down again. "Now, what were you saying, my dear?" asked the queen. Alice fled from the courtroom. She was soon lost in the maze of hedges. She could still hear the queen's voice, but it sounded very far away now, as if in a dream. All of a sudden, she heard someone calling, "Alice, wake up!" It was her sister. "You've been asleep for a very long time. Can you remember anything from the history lesson?" Alice rubbed her eyes. Dana was curled up in her lap, fast asleep. "I've had such an exciting time," said Alice. "There was a white rabbit, and I followed him." "Oh, never mind," said Alice's sister. "It's time to go home for tea." Alice picked up her kitten. "You know, Dana," she said, "maybe I'll stay in the real world after all."